Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2017 comedy action hockey film Goon: Last of the Informers. I got my Doug Glatt jersey. Highlanders represent. I'm a massive fan of the first film that came out in 2012, starring Sean William Scott, Jay Baruchel, a slew of other people, right? So this came out 5 years later. Jay Baruchel co-wrote the screenplay, and he's the director of this film. And the main story, the main 2012 story, is based off of a book, which is based on this guy Doug Smith's real life as a hockey enforcer. And so it's interesting watching that turn to film in a fictional aspect, but then a sequel which really wasn't needed. And it's unfortunate because I hold the first one so near and dear to my heart. I have incredible memories with that film. That film first came out February 2012, and that summer was just constantly watching that with the group of friends that I had at that particular time, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed and quoted and called each other giggly bits all the time, specifically because of that film. We talked about Goon. That was one of our very first reviews when we started this channel, however many years ago that was. But I never talked about the sequel because I only saw it once and I didn't like it. And now that I'm refreshing on these films, I have my list of things that are popping up on various streaming sites, and I'm like, I should talk about that. I broke out the jersey, so here we go. The first 2/3 of this film are bad, and it's unfortunate because the talent was given the material to work with, and it's unfortunate because it's bad. And then the wrap up at the end is fine, and it's all about teammate and evolution versus extinction. I love it. I love Xavier's speech at the end. It's great. It's a great ending. But leading to that ending was so slow. This was what, hour 42 minutes long. It's not needed. The first one's hour and a half, nice, quick, fast. This had extra scenes in it. The funniest part about this film, because again, these are comedy films. Funniest part about these films with the blooper reel at the end. It's unfortunate. So Doug Glatt, it's many years later. He's married to Eva. They're expecting a child, and he gets in a fight on the ice against this character, and Anders, excuse me. And Anders is the son of the new owner of the Halifax Highlanders, but he's on a different team, the Timberwolves or something like that. So Doug and Anders fight, and Doug's really injured, so he's done. He can't play hockey anymore. So he goes into insurance, and he doesn't like insurance, and he meets up with Ray, who he fought, ending that career, quote unquote, in the previous film, who's doing fighting on ice, but they're not playing hockey, they're just fighting on ice, so it's like a fight club, but on ice. Very interesting. So Doug and Ray are partaking in that, and then eventually they both get back to the Highlanders after retraining and going through that. But Anders is now put as the captain of the Highlanders, and there's conflict through the team. Nobody likes him because he's a complete a-hole to everybody, especially himself, especially to his father, and he doesn't like playing the game anyway. So he's just tearing up everything. And then the final third of the film, Eva gives birth. Doug's doing his final fight with Anders, and then the team all comes together after Anders is kicked off, of course, going back to the Wolves, forming the fight with the final fight with Doug as a Highlander again. Xavier getting the captain patch, which is cool. And then they all go to the hospital and, congratulate Doug on becoming a father. So the whole evolution versus extinction, it just took so long to get there. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun film. The first film, it was great. It had heart. It was just entertaining. It was fun. This one was crude, and there's a horribly racist joke about Chinese drivers for no reason. And it's weird. It's weird watching this because it feels like a completely separate entity than the first film. It's the same actors, it's the same characters, but it's a completely separate entity. Like I said, the funniest part was the blooper reel at the end. So I don't know, man. It was unfortunate. This is why I don't talk about this film, because the first one is just so incredible, and this one is just not. And it's hard to say, oh my god, I love Goon, because then you have to talk about the sequel, and the sequel is not it. It's not it. Not it. No cap. That's it. We said our piece. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.